come to my house, drink my alcohol, eat my food. I don't know, listen to me tell some cool stories and shit, right? His intelligence was apparently unmatched, and he apparently was able to speak a good many foreign languages fluently. It is said that his talent with a piano and violin was awe-inspiring, and he's always described as being a handsome gentleman, about 45 years of age. Funny thing, though, is that not a single individual that attended any of his parties or any of their own parties could recall him ever having partaken in the food. One evening, after a long night of entertaining friends at a nearby party, the Count invited a young woman back to his home located at 1041 Royal Street. Once inside, the Count advanced on the woman, being his usual charming self. Charming until he decided that he was going to try to bite her forcefully and very aggressively on the neck.
Solid. Okay.
So she freaks out, as you do.
Yeah. You're like, ow, ow, ow. Too much.
And she fights him off and she starts booking it. Okay, honey, she done got the hell out of there.
Oh my gosh.
All right, that's what I'm saying. She went straight to the police where she tells them, dude just tried to fucking bite me. Right? And then the investigators are like, that's not normal. Okay, let's go check that out. So when they get there, he is nowhere to be found. They do, however, find a blood-stained tablecloth and copious amounts of wine. I've actually also heard that, once again, different ways to tell the story, but I've also heard that when they got there were parts of the house where they saw that blood had been splattered on the ceiling, but that's debatable. So the authorities are like, what in gay hell is going on here, right? So they start checking it out, and then they discover the bottle of wine on the dining room table. So they start checking out the house, and they discover that the bottle of wine that's left open on the dining room table is actually a mixture of wine and blood.
That kind of party.
And then they take all of the cases of wine found throughout the house and discover that all of them are a mixture of wine and blood. This discovery sends New Orleans Police Department on this crazy hunt where they're looking for this dude because they're pretty sure that he now likes to kill people and drink their blood.
Yeah.
And they never find him. And a lot of times people say that he also comes back to the city and they've encountered him before, where it's just like a man that fits that description, and he's just amazing to listen to. But I mean, that could be a great many people in New Orleans that fit that description.
There's a lot of people, I think. I've met a number. Remember I told you I like going to the outskirts where the not tourists go.
So there's two other stories that, I mean, they coincide with each other, even though they take place at different times. But I want to also tell those. The first one is that apparently shortly after they had colonized, there were a couple kids that had gone missing. And because it was a smaller community, it was easy for people to know who everybody in town was. So they decided to go out towards the swamp one evening and look for them because they were pretty sure that the kids had either gotten lost or been taken by the Native Americans, who they had a lot of issues with. So they go out to the swamp where they find the two children hung upside down from their ankles. And they're hanging from a tree, and they each have incisions on them and have most of their blood drained out of them. The other story is that of the two college students, these two guys that were living in a pretty nice apartment, always paid their rent on time. Their landlord loved them. They were, by all means, really cool guys. So the landlord hadn't gotten paid for a while and was just like, okay, I mean, I've never really had problems with them, but I'll just go over there and see what's going on, give them like a friendly reminder. Maybe you just forgot to pay me. Goes over there, knocks on the door, there's no answer. Tries again later, there's no answer. So at this point, the landlord's like, maybe I talk to the police, you know. Police go over there.
Awry.
Yeah, the landlord went in with the police.
Yeah.
And when they went in, the two boys were found hanging from the chandelier.
Oh, good.
By their ankles, with small incisions, and most of the blood drained from their body. So I think that it's really fun that a lot of these stories coincide with each other.
Yeah, and a lot of them have a lot of the same markers, too.
Yeah.
But that's another reason, too, that when you are in New Orleans and you take a vampire tour or ghost tour, or you're just wandering around, besides the voodoo and the ghosts, vampires are really high up there. They have a culture still to this day of people that refer to themselves as vampires. They obviously make custom fangs, and that's the first place, as far as I'm aware, in the United States that was making custom fangs.
They have vampire bars, which is real cool.
They sure do, yeah.
And I feel like real vampires are generally lovely people.
I don't give a shit. They're usually pretty cool about consent, which I feel like a lot of people maybe need to learn a little bit of a lesson from.
Maybe we could learn a little something. Well, you know what else actually I think is real fun too is there's all these different stories about how people become vampires. And one of the things that I think is really fascinating is there's a story about how when they were renovating one of the older buildings, they had gone to work on the chimney and some of the bricks had broken out and there was a hollow space behind it. And there was a diary back there. And when they had started looking through it, it was a man's diary. And he said that he had been tied up and fed on several nights at a time by another gentleman.
Sir, pardon me. It's not a diary if it's a man. It's a journal?
I'm calling it a diary. I bet it was really cute. I bet it was pink. I bet it had one of those tiny little locks on it that does nothing.
Masculine. Or those ones that you talked into.
Oh my God, I remember those.
Commercial,
yeah.
Where they'd be like, only if you speak his secret password. And I was like, who uses that? Also, why? Also, it's really easy to open.
Yeah.
You just break it.
I mean, I wrote a lot of sad poetry in high school, but I didn't put a lock on it. I used to read that shit at coffee houses. So it was like, come on down, see the sad gay boy read a poem.
The rarity of it.
But in the journals, he talks about how he had been fed on by this other guy multiple times. And then after X amount of times, he started then developing a taste for blood himself. And it was fun. I mean, also, too, I don't know, maybe somebody just put that behind the chimney to fuck with somebody.
Maybe.
But I think that it's real funny that it was bricked up and hidden. It seems like a lot of work to go to for, it's a very elaborate trick.
I do like elaborate pranks. But I think that's super amazing. But also, there is the theory that if you are craving something very badly, it's because your body needs it. So, blood has nutrients in it, iron and stuff.
So that was my campfire tale, and I hope that you enjoyed it.
I did, because clearly I was really down with fucking vampires for a long time.
Oh no, I definitely was too. I got real excited about the Vampire Chronicles when I was a kid, and I remember it was like my 11th or 12th birthday. I was gifted the first 3, but they were the hardcover ones, the nice ones, and I was very excited about it, and I imbibed all of them. And I had to make like a diorama for a book report. I think it was maybe like 5th grade, and I did Interview with the Vampire, and you had to recreate a scene from the book.
In 5th grade?
Yeah, so I was a weird kid.
No, I mean, like, I think it's super, I mean, I know your parents, okay, but, like, it's just really funny to me for my parents being like, you cannot read that, but then I'd read, like, weird stuff and be like, hell, question. But the fact that they let you read Interview with the Vampire, it's so funny in 5th grade. And then your teacher was like, yeah, go ahead.
Do you know what the scene I recreated in my diorama was?
No.
It was the death of Claudia.
Oh, but that's a great prop.
So I just drew a whole bunch of bricks and squares along the inside of the box, and then I burned a whole bunch of incense, and I just put ashes all up in the bottom, put some burn marks on it.
Oh my gosh!
Wow, I can't believe nobody ever told me how fucked up that was.
It's so funny. But that was, okay, first of all, that's a super iconic scene in there. It's so sad.
Oh, Louis, he was so sad. Well, Lestat was real sad, too, let's be honest.
But also, he deserves
Lestat,
it.
I think his thing was, Lestat had all the daddy issues,
He has all the issues, period. He's like, no one cares about me. Oh, everyone cares about me now. Wah.
We should probably close this out. Yeah,
that's a thing.
So, I'm going to close this out right now with a cheers. Cha-ching. Ooh, I like that. So, here's to all the vampires. I hope I did not piss you off too much.
Cheers.
Cheers. And if you'd like to cheers with us on social media, you can certainly find us on Instagram, where we are Shots in the Dark Podcast. We do also have a Snapchat. We also have a Twitter, where you can find us at Shots in the Dark P.
You can email us at shotsinthedarkpodcast@gmail.com, as well as find us on Facebook at Shots in the Dark Pod. Because why would you only want one sort of way to find someone if you can have 90?
Exactly. We also have a Patreon.
With that being said, you can also look at our iTunes. Hopefully stay a little bit, review us, rate us, because that matters to the whole world.
Yeah, it really helps out the show if you can leave us a 5-star rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe say something nice.
The thing is, don't be mean. Just, you can kind of walla walla bang bang. I don't care what you say, really. Just don't be mean, please.
Yeah, because I will go and I will read another sad poem at a coffee house because you did that.
We'll put that on an event page.
Dear Diary, we got a 2-star review today.
Oh my God.
But from both of us here at Shots in the Dark podcast, we hope you've had a lot of fun on our second Campfire Tale, and we also hope that we've left you shaken.
Not stirred.
Bye.
Bye.
That is a modest glass. That is what a normal glass of wine should look like. Not like when we're really excited about filling our Bordeaux glasses all the way to the top.